ADing, producing in general, line producing, budgeting, crowdfunding, all of the things that people.
The unsexy stuff. It's always the unsexy stuff that gets overlooked, but it's always the unsexy stuff that's actually very important for making a film set run smoothly and everything. It's always that. It's the same thing with rentals. It's always the unsexy stuff that everybody forgets about. You have to have cones and pop-ups and walkies and stuff, but it's not sexy at all. Nobody goes, oh, I want to be in a film production. I'm going to take a picture with the walkies. No, nobody ever does.
We are the
Get Reelisms podcast.
I am Adam Chase Rani.
And I am Christine Chen. And surprise, we're both filmmakers.
We get into it by sharing secrets, advice, and gossip in filmmaking.
And we even get our other filmmaking friends to share theirs too.
So please, everybody, join us for
an ode
to
filmmaking.
Welcome back. Episode 166 of the Get Reelisms podcast. I am Adam Chase Rani.
And I am Christine Chen. And today we have a special guest. Her name is not the Basil Queen, although she's known as that. So could you introduce yourself, Sheila?
My name is Sheila Victoria Anne. My artist name, stage name, acting, and songwriter name is Sheilava. So a lot of people know me as that. I'm very glad to be here, sporting my fun Get Reelisms shirt as well.
Sheila is also a ambassador for Get Reelisms as well, which is awesome. And you and Adam both are in Austin, Texas, where I miss greatly everything.
We miss you.
And yes, I was going to say, we miss you very much.
I miss Austin so much. So yeah, so how is it for you as an artist, filmmaker, and everything? How has it been in Austin, Texas? And yeah, I guess start it from the beginning. Like, how did you even get started in this crazy industry? Anything that you want to say that might inspire somebody who is trying to start up in the film industry or in the industry in general, music or film?
I guess how I got started in film actually was because of the music industry. I had a band that was playing all the time, gigging all the time. We're only doing Comic Cons right now, but at the time, it was back in 2017, going into 2018. We had lots of music. We had released an EP, an entire Christmas album. I got a random Facebook message from a filmmaker who had just arrived to the US the year prior. And that guy's name was Anton Savenko. You know who he is.
Oh, Anton. Oh my God, I love him. That's great.
Yes. Super random. And somebody is messaging they can't hear. Can you hear now? I hope that helps.
I think we're good.
I can hear. But
I can hear.
I don't know how I can hear. Yeah.
So somebody sent me a random message. I didn't know who this person was. Anton Savenko saying, you have a lot of music, but you don't have any music videos. Maybe we could collaborate. And you get these messages. You're just like, what is this? Who is this? You wonder if it's real or sketchy. And I'm just like, I have nothing to lose. Let's just see. Let's meet up. We made 3 music videos together. And it was on the third one, Ups for Kings, where he sought help from a couple of his friends, one of them being Lisa Belcher, who is watching on Instagram. I was just telling him how I got started. It was through music videos. I met Anton Savenko and then Lisa Belcher. And through connecting with them, after my third music video, they actually invited me to write a song for their 48-hour film project. That was called All In, I believe, and it was a Western. They drew the genre. I don't know if you guys have participated in the 48-hour film project before, but It is usually very fun and extremely stressful. And then you draw a genre like Western or musical, and you have a crisis. You're just like, how do we do this? They drew Western or musical, and they were just like, I guess we're going with Western. That same night, I got with my band partner at the time. We wrote a full-fledged song in 5 hours, and we had it for them the next day. The song I wrote was called Lady Outlaw. Gave it to them, and they were just like, this is so cool. And through that song, through that experience, and stepping on that set and just watching them work, I was just hooked. I got to contribute this little teeny tiny piece to this very large puzzle, and I want to do it again and again. And I started writing more theme songs for films reached out to everybody I had met on the music video and on that 48-hour film project. How can I help? How can I join? How can I learn? I did lots of background, lots of extras, lots of PA stuff, and then lots of songwriting. The more I did it, the more I became obsessed with it. And I just kept learning and growing and connecting and collaborating. And it's that notion where you take on a job and it doesn't feel like work. None of it was paid, of course. This is all just me being excited to learn. So I was taking on all these film projects, not getting paid for any of them, just constantly offering and volunteering and helping. And then people started turning that back around. They saw how much I was doing and just, how can I be a part of your next music video? How can I be a part of your 48-hour film project? It started coming back full circle. Flash forward, I think 2 years later, I was on a project with Ali Al-Kafaji. I think y'all know him. He is a filmmaker, actor, writer, director, and he's also a festival director for Austin Spotlight, Austin Under the Stars, LA Under the Stars, and there's a new one up in the Great Northwest, another Under the Stars festival. I was on his film, Allergies, helping as a PA slash second AD, and something happened to where I got bumped up to second AD. That's when I started learning a lot about the back end and the paperwork process and how you have to hold everybody accountable and how you have to do deal memos and paperwork side of the film business that nobody enjoys. I learned about all of that by working with Angela Laporta on that film set. So that experience was wild because it wasn't anything I'd ever thought about doing, especially not creatively, because that side of the things is not creative by any means, but it is necessary.
Cones and pop-ups and walkies and stuff, but it's not sexy at all. Nobody goes, oh, I want to be in a film production. I'm going to take a picture with the walkies. No, nobody ever does that. Everybody's, oh, the camera. It's always the camera, maybe the sound gear, but the really lights in the camera. So it's, yes, you hit on something that is very topical, which is to level up, you have to treat it like a business. And
Yeah.
I've talked about this in other podcasts because it's a hard pill to swallow, but it's a pill that you must swallow in order to level up. And it's a love-hate relationship that I have with it in LA because the majority, if you want to be able to survive in LA, you have to get to that point very fast of treating it like a business. And you miss, part of you misses that passion and that community and that love of what filmmaking was, which was, oh, a group of friends coming together to make art, right? You really lose that
It's more corporate. Yeah.
in LA.
Very
100%.
corporate.
Yeah.
And
As I'm finding out with each next project, it's just the next step. You start
Yeah.
talking about investors, and then you're just like, it's fun and it's
Yeah.
not intimidating.
yes, and it sucks because it's like you see your childhood self die, but you know that you have to leave it behind to get to this other level. It is because what it is in the end, I think if you can't make money doing what you love, it's just a hobby. It's not a
Yes.
profession. It's not a career. And time and time
Yes.
again, that's something that we have to remember is if you cannot make a living doing what you're doing, you just have a freaking expensive hobby.
That's the other tricky part is people are like, hobby filmmaking is still fun. I still enjoy it, but it's like, who's going to pay for it? Who's going to pay for your
Right.
hobby? You are, or you're going to beg people to help you. And at that point, it still is stressful. It's like you're still putting in the work one way or the other. If it's putting in the time or the money or a lot of one and a little of the other or vice versa, it still ends up becoming a very expensive hobby. You're still putting in that work somehow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What would you
Yes.
say during this process, the top things that you would tell your previous self that you wish you'd known going through this journey?
I think number one, I would have loved a crash course on editing. I was having this conversation with Taylor Fredericks. He's the other hive mind behind Basil King. And I feel like we do our best work and we are more technically accurate and have a better experience overall when we write to edit, shoot to edit, produce to edit. What is the end goal? What is the audience supposed to feel or hear or experience? A lot of writers and directors are getting better and better at that with each next project. I think as a producer, we go into it just, okay, let me raise money. Okay, here's all the paperwork. Okay, permits, insurance, whatever. And you do each next thing as it comes. Typically, my experience with, and this is talking like the little guy, the underdog, you're always scrambling. Oh, we forgot about this, or we totally didn't know about that law, or, the place we wanted to film at, there's probably going to be lots of fun things happening. So let's look at the calendar for the city and see what else is happening because that's a popular tourist spot, right? Let's work backwards from there. This is what we want it to look like, but what problems are we going to run into to try to plan, be able to film there? Having that backwards process as a producer helps avoid as many things as possible later on. What permits are we going to need? What insurance? What is the law? Not just filming in this city or on this historic piece of land, but what is the statewide law? Things with animals, all kinds of animal permits that I never knew were a thing are a thing. Sad paperwork, expecting other people to back out at the last second, just constantly planning ahead. I wanted a crash course in editing and I've yet to have that. I'm always seeing it later in post-production where it's, oh, there's that. There's a Whataburger back there. Or, oh my gosh, I totally didn't realize there's a whole bunch of other things happening in that scene and you're constantly having to fix it. So crash course in editing, working backwards in general, having that mentality when you're producing anything, when you're ADing, even as an actor. I only got it piece by piece through each next project. I'd say the second thing I wish I would have learned is more about equipment, more about gear. Again, it's like with each next project, I learned what this piece of equipment is. For the longest time, I didn't know what a flag was. You hear all these terms when you jump from set to set as a background extra or as a PA. You're just trying to soak it all in. Not knowing what all these things are, and you have people barking orders at you. Get out of the way of this, or hand me that. And you're just like, it actually wasn't until I met y'all and I got your book. I can't remember if it was at a festival or if it was on set. And I started reading through it and I'm like, what half of these things are? I've never heard of them. So I wish I had that from day one. We learn as you go. But that's why I'm such a fan of Get Reelisms. You guys have that little crash course written in for important film terms, just stuff to expect. What the heck is a honey wagon? Like 10-1, 10-2 versus telling people I'm going to go take a dump. There's a nice way to do things. And then probably number 3 would have been nice to be taught from the get-go how to budget. Again, something you just learn with each next project. You're told we have this, and then you're constantly dealing with problems to try to make the budget work with that. You can negotiate anything. And I literally mean anything. You can negotiate gear, rentals, food, donations. Even when people are offering you something, it never ever hurts to come back and be like, okay, that would be amazing. Could you throw in a couple extra hamburgers? Not just working with a budget, but constantly thinking like, how can I get creative with collaborating with others? But it's not just about money. It's also about the people, the community around you. I go to the same restaurant at least once a week, right? Down the street, constantly supporting their business. Doesn't hurt for me to reach out to them and say, hey, I've been coming here for 7 years. Is there any chance you'd donate like a giant thing of coffee for my crew? It never hurts to ask. It never hurts to make that budgeting experience a little bit easier and not just focus on dollars. Oh, we only have $5,000. This is all we can afford. Everything else has to be sacrificed. I learned that. I've worked on over 150 productions to date. It's been a very long, hard lesson to learn that you can do that. Learn that I helped these 5 or 10 filmmakers on every single one of their projects for free for the last 5 years. Now that I'm working on bigger things, it's like, can I pull that favor back from you? Right? Learning all that up front, it is okay to ask. Never demand, though. Don't be like Sam.
Yes. And no, I think you nailed it on the head. These are things I constantly through multiple podcasts talk about. And the whole reason that we even started this brand is because you enter this film world subtly being expected to know everything, but so much of it is learned on the go and on the fly and through experience. That's why on a set, Kelly and Jason and I was like, dude, this stuff isn't like if you haven't been on enough sets, you hear these things, you're not taught them. Inspired by the Facebook group Movie Set Memes, wanted something that would be funny and make fun of ourselves, but also be educational and whatnot. It's kind of Get Reelisms started, and then that started a whole community and this podcast, because realizing, oh, we are all learning, and the best filmmakers are very aware of this, and they are very open about always learning. And it's the whole more the less mentality, which is great. And I think that's the fun part, is being to share these experiences and say, hey, did this happen with you guys? What happened? Okay, next time don't do that. It's all these shared experiences that make you a better anything that you want to be. And so I loved that you mentioned, hey, start backwards with what you want to achieve and figure out from there how to piece it backwards together retroactively. That's a lot of problem solving, really. But in film, you see it a lot from all the different perspectives and positions, but you'll see like a new filmmaker and you just want to tell them what, like, if you just knew what you're actually going to edit, you could be saving so much time with not shooting all this other thing, these things that you swear you're going to use, but I just know from experience that you will not. But it's that whole thing of you got to do it to know as well. You got to experience. Everybody hears about these things, but until they're in that editing room and go, oh shit, I forgot these things. Oh, I really didn't need 50 takes of this. That's when they learn for the next project.
Yeah, that whole mentality, like you don't know what you don't know. And then sometimes you don't really even grasp it or fully feel it, learn from it until you go through it. I think if everybody kept that in mind, regardless of what level they were at, you're working with completely different people, all walks of life, all backgrounds, all levels, all skill sets. And I think just showing each other that grace and that understanding that I might know everything, but all these other people, they might know nothing. And we have to give them that grace too. Even if you are a master of your craft, always coming from it, from that teacher mentality or that mentor mentality, is just like, if one of us fails, we all fail. If we don't end up making this film, this is all worthless. So going into each next set, like just assuming people don't already understand every single thing that you do, working with them, and just having that collaborative experience is what makes filmmaking fun versus a chore. I see all these like great people, but all they do is complain.
We've talked about attitudes on film set. That's the other thing too, is that there's nothing wrong. That's the whole reason why we're in filmmaking, is that it is a collaborative medium. It requires you to work with other people and you have to compromise. Like you said earlier, Sheila, filming when there's like a bunch of motorcycles coming around and stuff, you have to compromise and work around that, because without those experiences, you wouldn't be fully prepared for, are you really prepared for any set? Oh, when there's changes, oh, there's things happening in the background and sound can't capture anything. This is where we work around. This is where we adapt and we can communicate thoroughly to other people. Plenty of sets I've worked on where directors don't even communicate with any of the departments except for their ADs. That kind of rubs me the wrong way. So you get in the weeds of all this, and having it a collaborative effort, even on bad days, you realize that, oh, we have each other. We're all frustrated. We're on our 12th hour and we're hungry. We're tired. We're exhausted, but we know each other well enough to know that as long as you work with good people and like with good attitudes, seems like any film shoot is just a breeze, really.
I've been on film sets where it's Mad is a great example. I'm still in post-production for this Alice in Wonderland massive music video. It's more akin to Michael Jackson's Thriller, where it's like a music video inside of
it's a whole narrative. Yeah.
A whole narrative.
I've seen BTS of it.
Oh, we have so much work to do in post. It's a lot of CGI, VFX, and a lot of syncing. But the first 3 days of that shoot were a literal logistical nightmare. The amount of props we had from Zilker Theater, Archive Theater, and then Labyrinth Creatives, Dakota Millett works there. He was able to help us. We had to rent a 36-foot U-Haul to fit all these props in. And oh look, David Lackey's here. We love
I
you,
love-
David.
Never had a bad time at an Alice in Wonderland.
So that was a logistical nightmare. We had this 36-foot U-Haul. We had to put all the props in, and that was everything from furniture to grandfather clocks to endless mirrors and endless little chairs that we were hanging up in the tree to make it look whimsical. And the amount of wardrobe, the amount of cuckoo hats that Ori made, and we had these giant 8-foot mushrooms, hand painted 5x5 ice to make Alice look small, right? All of that went in this U-Haul. We had been planning this shoot for months, and then it had rained for 4 or 5 days straight prior to stepping on set. So there was mud everywhere. Forget like us stepping in the mud and trying to get the gear through the mud, having the U-Haul, this massive truck, like having to drive that through the mud to get to the back end of this location made all these divots in the ground. So it's like on set, I was going insane. I was like, this is not happening. This is not happening. But the fact that everybody was just like, this is cool. This is whimsical. This is fun. It's okay. We're going to make it through together. People went out of their way to help, whether they were PAs or whether they were cast, whether they were whatever. We had to move a piano at one point. We had to unload all these wardrobe, all this props because of those circumstances, because of the weather, stuff you can't plan for. And yes, it was tiring. What we had planned to be a 12-hour shoot turned into a 16-hour shoot. And nobody wants that. Nobody's ever actively, oh, I hope I can keep everybody here longer than necessary. It's just what happens with weather sometimes. And I look back and I'm so sorry that happened. I'm so sorry you went through that. And everybody's having a blast. So yes, it was long and cold and I was tired and hungry. But like, we freaking made an Alice in Wonderland film. I got to be Mad Hatter or I got to be the evil queen. So having that mentality going into it, like the attitude is everything.
Oh,
And
yeah.
also, I saw a Basil King popped in for a second, as well as the Rage Against the Machine tribute band here. Oh, and there's also Rev Wicks. He worked on the Gold Lament film.
Austin crew support.
Austin crew, let's go.
Yeah, Austin crew rise. I think that's the beauty of, man, that's the biggest thing I miss about Austin is the community.
Yes.
Community is everything. Community is why any of our careers are anywhere close to where it is right now. I can 100% say that I would not be where I am if I didn't start in Austin and I started in LA. Who has a VFX awesome Steadicam extraordinaire who I can just be like, hey, David, here's a bottle of whiskey. Can we work on my film right now together?
I have no money.
Austin is family, film fam. And that's important.
Yeah, and not just film family as in filmmakers either. When you say community, like at least in Austin, it's businesses, it's mom and pop restaurants, anybody who gets excited about filmmaking.
Yeah.
And then making sure to shout them back out, making sure to help them on that next thing they need or chat about their business, whatever it is.
Christine got
producing
stories.
over
You want to know LA filmmaking, Christine? We could do 2 episodes worth of stories.
I'm scared. I don't want to be scared of filmmaking. But what's interesting is like that the film I'm producing out in LA next weekend, a lot of the crew comes from those same backgrounds that we do. And they still have that heart. And it's interesting because they're all like, yeah, in LA, it's a little tricky. Out here in New York, it's this way. And I've heard in Texas, it's this way. We can't just ask for help, ask for support, ask for donations out in LA because people are just like, it's not a thing.
I never thought of it that way of like how, like, you're right, Sheila. I feel like it is different than you would go to any other state because we are a tight-knit community. And I've only been on maybe a few sets where it's just all strangers and I don't know any of them. But for the most part, almost every other set I've been on, I see one Austin person and I'm like, hey, friend. A great little community. And I don't think that translates to, like you said, like New York or even South Carolina also has, I think, a big film community there as well. And yeah, I don't see that, because at the end of the day, I feel like we're on a film shoot, we're on a set, we're all just family. We're all trying to figure this out. And we've worked on plenty of sets where it's not. It's like, I have my side, I have my department. Do not come to my department. Whereas like any other set here, when I'm on a Austin shoot, I'm hanging out with G&E, I'm hanging out with hair and makeup, I'm hanging out with costume, I'm hanging out with the first AD, the second AD. It's just a different vibe. Yeah, I never thought of it that way until now.
Yeah.
It's a different vibe. I remember when I stepped on my first LA shoot that was non-independent here, and being very confused when people didn't want to go get drinks afterwards. What do you mean? Yeah.
I don't even drink, and I do having those wrap drinks at the end of the day where we can all just hang out and laugh and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you hit the nail on the head. It's not even like about alcohol. It's about mingling. Instead, connecting a little bit more and just the human aspect of it. I cannot stand that phrase, not my department.
I use it as a joke sometimes, though.
I've been on sets where the DP's sitting on his butt on an apple box. He does not move the entire shoot. And something will fall and somebody's struggling, like a PA struggling or a grip struggling. And he'll just literally sit there and watch them and not offer help, not offer to pick up the heavy object or the thing. Been on sets where people are like, hey, could you give me a hand? And verbatim, not my department. That mentality is wild to me. And that's something I take seriously, like any set, whether it's a teeny tiny short music video or if it's a massive film. You have to treat your PAs, your grips, your background extras, everybody as a human, first and foremost. Minions. Yeah, everybody. Not just minions. They're not people you should just be ordering around. I hate that. Without all these humans, this thing is not possible. I get the experience thing. I get the certification versus I've been doing this for forever. But at the end of the day, we're still humans. If you're walking down the street and you see somebody trip and fall, what are you going to be like? Oh, somebody has a question. Nico Ramos Films. Any advice making a phone call, asking your first PA job
as a day player? Honestly, Nico, Christine got me involved with the Texas Filmmakers Facebook group. And you just see job postings like on Facebook. And for, I would say like solid year, I've just been going on Texas paid film calls, I think it's called. Keep cycling through, seeing who needs a PA gig. And you go on those sets and talk to everybody.
Vera.
Yeah, exactly. Just be nice. And like Sheila said, just jump in when somebody is struggling and needs help. Just jump in and help out. I'm sure at the end of the day, they'll appreciate it. Even if they say, no, I got it.
Yeah, that I cannot stress that enough. I don't know what studio you're in, Nico, but one of the most powerful questions I've ever used on my own or heard other people use is, how can I help? Not, can I help? Or do you need help? Instead, how can I help? And again, I have my own backstory. For those of you who didn't catch it in the beginning, I was chatting about how I fell into the film industry. I worked on maybe 15, 20 sets for free because I wanted to learn. Yes, people weren't asking me like, hey, can you work for free? Or I need more help. I was offering it. I was constantly going to other people who inspired me or who I could tell that they were open to working with newbies. They were open to working with green, whatever it was, PAs, background extra, musicians for their soundtrack, whatever it was. And it's okay, how can I help? Like, I'll pick up this, I'll hand you that, I'll learn this, I'll hold the paper. Like, I just want to learn. So I think from a producer's mentality, sometimes we do get overloaded with emails and DMs saying, by the way, if you're looking for PAs, I have this and I have these. And we get like between 10 to 200 of those on every single film set. But every now and then I'll get somebody saying, hey, I'm brand new, I want to learn. How can I help? It's less about the credentials. It's less about the experience. It's more about that human connection. And so I'm not saying by any means to never market yourself with the experience you have. I'm saying make it more human, less like a robot, less like a resume. Yes, for professional jobs, definitely do that. But if you're trying to get your very first PA gig and you haven't had luck in that area thus far, sometimes just flat out ask that question, how can I help? We have things fall through all the time, or we had this PA with 4 or 5 years experience and they just dropped out at the last second. It's like, I need somebody. I don't care what experience you've had. Like, I will work with you. Let's learn together. I need somebody. In those moments, those are the people I reach out to.
A lot of
Maybe
this is
kind of, yeah.
timing and being on top. That's why touch points are important. That's why reaching out and talking to people consistently. You got to understand that we get reached out to all the time, and it's hard for us
Yes.
to remember who's actually serious, who's actually
It's so
real, who actually wants to help. Maybe we understand in that moment when you messaged us, you were available, but I can't assume that 3 months from now, you're in the same position to want to help. So a lot of that, unfortunately, does require like just jumping in, and it's a timing thing, and it's being, and when you're there, being indispensable and being, I think one of the nicest questions I get on set when I AD is, do you need anything? If you ask an AD that, like, they will love you for it,
Yes.
because they don't get asked that very much.
I mean-
because you're the person who everybody looks to for support.
Reports to the supporter.
Yeah.
I want to start crying because there have been a few sets, especially in the last year, just everybody's stressed out. The world feels like it's crumbling. And it's like, how do we even get to do the things we love to do while we're all feeling chaos is happening on the inside?
Sure.
Step on set, you bring all these different energies, you cram all these people in, everybody has to be dead quiet. And the AD or AD/producer a lot of the time is sitting there and everybody's dumping more and more on you. And you have to take it. It's not
Yeah.
you're supposed to take it.
You
It's
have
to take it.
Job description.
There, I cannot tell you, like, literally saved me mentally and emotionally speaking, when I'd have a PA come up to me out of the blue without asking, hey, how are you? Hey, I brought you a water.
I brought you a snack.
I
Oh,
brought you ibuprofen, or I found your phone. I saw you didn't have it in your hand making calls. I brought you your phone. Those are the people. And when we get the bigger gigs, we get the higher paid jobs. Those are the people I call first because they saved me. When you save the AD or somebody in that high level or high stress position, you're saving the whole set. You're not just doing the job and standing around and waiting for somebody to bark orders at you. You're putting that human empathy first. And you're noticing people are stressed or hurting, and you go and you offer that human aspect. Those are the people I love having by my side, or supporting the actor, supporting the director, the DP on any next film, knowing that they would offer them that same human empathy. Make sure they know you're not just another robot, another number, another whatever. You are a human first, and you want to learn, you want to help.
Humans, yeah. And when you start getting to working with your friends and stuff, that's something I always will stress as well. Hey, we're friends first, and then everything else. Because unfortunately, film sets, with the limited resources, the stress, the external problems, and everything, it brings out the worst in people.
Yes.
Because everybody reacts to stress differently. And a lot of times, I have friends, I will tell this straight off their faces, and they know, hey, you are a big B when you are very stressed out and you act that way. And so if you are able to handle stress in a graceful way, that also says a lot about you. And I think one of the big things I always stress is try to put yourself in the other person's shoes.
perspective.
Perspective and understand perspective, and then take the time to either teach or
What is the why?
right. What is the why? And I've been told this many times on I mentor, that's my give. I can't give much of anything, but I can give knowledge. And so I'll mentor on sets and stuff like that. And a lot of students often say that's their favorite thing, is that I take the time to explain why. And I think that's important, because without knowing why, you're just going through the motions. You're a robot. And when you know why, if things don't work out exactly how you were taught, you are able to use your own thinking to fix the problem, because you understand why you're doing it in the first place. And that's the difference between truly understanding why something is the way it is and knowing the depths of it so that you can be flexible and pivot when things don't work 100%. That's why I think that people who go through the film school of on set versus theoretical film school, there's a huge difference. 'Cause they're
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
given all the resources that you said that you're needed on a set ever. And
You can't teach experience, so you just have to go through it.
experience. You can try.
The other thing too, film school aside, even on-set experience aside, the amount of films I helped out with as a background extra, it probably taught me more in those first few films collectively than like my entire experience, because you just sit there for hours and all you do is observe. And you not only observe how things run, how people interact with each other for better or worse, you also observe how often you're ignored. And so that's a big thing I try to do anytime I have sets with, especially with multiple groups or massive crowds of BG extras, is taking a few seconds here and there and just letting them know, okay, so first we're going to do this, and the team has to do that, then they have to frame that, and just informing them of the step-by-step process so they're not sitting there for 6 hours and not a single person's talked to them. Why are they sitting there for 6 hours without moving an inch? And they can't see the camera, they can't see the actors, they can't see the hair, makeup, wardrobe team, the set designer. They can't see any of that when they put them over in the holding. From that perspective, you start to feel like cattle. You're just shuttled into a room and then pulled back out when it's time to do your thing. And then as soon as you're done, you go right back into that room and you're not involved. It's not fun. Unfortunately, unless you have connections right off the bat, unless you know the right people, being a background extra or a PA, you're constantly treated like that, less than human, not even given the grace as to why you're sitting there, why you're standing there. I've even gotten in trouble for that. I've been barked at by DP or director or whoever, like, are you talking the background extras right now? And I'm like, I sat there for 3 hours. They deserve
To be noticed.
They're not just little AI people. They have needs. They have to pee.
Yeah.
At some point, they need water. And then at some point, they need food. They're
Mhm.
literally just sitting in this room. Like, why can't we treat them like humans? It's so important. And if your background extras are happy, your film's going to look better overall. Like, you expect them to just jump into the mode after sitting there, like frozen or stone cold, feet falling asleep. And it's the same thing with your PAs. If you give them that love, that grace, that acknowledgement, the understanding of why they have to go here, then reset, then reset. If everybody's in the know, everybody's a little bit more wise, everybody's a little bit happier, we are all connected more, and it just helps the project overall versus everybody being clueless and stressed out.
But if you can go through the set and end the set still wanting and being okay to, hey, I would totally still get a drink with this person, then I feel like you've done your job properly. I think
Go ahead, Sheila.
Oh, I was gonna say, if you don't have that and you can't, that's okay too.
sure.
There's some people that it does not matter how you try to reach them, cannot be reached. They're going to be in their bubble all day long. They're going to have that hate or that anger or that outburst. And no matter what, like I've learned that the hard way, there's a nasty person. If you have that at the end of the set too, and you can't reconnect or have a drink with that person, it's okay. Going forward, I'm going to draw that boundary, create that safe space for you and your team, and just choose not to work with that person.
There's all sorts of people. And I feel like even those people who are a little standoffish start chipping away at that shell and they start opening up and they start like talking to you. As long as you're consistent, and me, I don't shut up. That's why we have the podcast. I like to poke some of those people and see how they're doing and what's going on. You're just standing there. You don't know what to do, especially the first time being a PA is just going to be awkward, and you don't know when to jump in. You don't know when to ask for help. And then sometimes you're going to be shuttled off to a corner of a room and you're just going to stay there for 5 or 6 hours at a time. One thing that I noticed too is that people will always ask for a PA's help when they're not on their phones. And not saying that everybody needs to not be on their phones. Sometimes you just don't have a choice. But at the same time, if you are seeing the entire set, the people who are the most aware are going to be the ones to be grabbed and run into the set and helping out everyone, rather than somebody who's just glued to their phone and they're not making eye contact with anybody. And then sometimes you see people on their phone, and there are people I've worked on shoots that are PAs and they don't want to be there, which is interesting given how many there are jobs out there that you can do the same thing. If your plan is to make money in film, first of all, you're in the wrong business. Secondly, you got to work out your priorities. If you're serious about film and your filmmaking, be a sponge and notice everything and ask questions and jump in to help, which you don't.
No, that's actually a big thing on this Basil King series I'm working on. I've been trying to do more and more. Anybody who's jumping on board for the first time to help as a PA or background extra, whatever it is, if they stick through and keep putting up with all of my goodness on set and they're there and they're working hard and they want to learn, I'm like, hey, next time, let me show you how to do a call sheet. Let me show you why.
That's awesome.
Trying to give them the same knowledge and grace and insight and wisdom that I was given on those other sets, because without it, I just didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. And until somebody takes the time to teach you, or you work on a billion sets and you finally learn piece by piece,
Cobble it together.
cobble it together, you still won't know what you don't know. And you'll just
Yeah.
keep going from one set to the next, getting yelled at or being in the dark or just not understanding. I think it's why, like, the Basil King team, this family we've built, they are also simultaneously so supportive. Social media aspect of it, when we do networking events, we have a lot of our crew. I'm not just talking about the actors who are in the spotlight. I'm saying like the crew shows up to mixer after mixer, holiday event, like the ATX Short Film Showcase. We have between 5 to 20 members of the Basil King crew going to every single one of them. Does that happen with crew members, right? I've never seen it prior to this. So I'd like to think it's like the culture we're trying to continue to build. And we're not just making another TV series. We're literally nourishing this little family. Like, we all have big hearts. We all learn. So we're all trying to do it together. That's why I love it so much.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's a good segue into, let's play the little intro that
Oh,
Sheila
sure.
sent.
Oh,
So
that's just a little recap of last year, all the people and all the love and all the energy we built.
let me share my screen here and get this going.
Let's put some fun little Get Reelisms photos on the beginning too.
Yeah, I see that.
And anybody watching who isn't already in the film industry, I like to say, like, this reel I put together, it's a good overall view into what it's like being indie. Like, from one day to the next or 1 week to the next, it's acting, producing versus bringing people together, background extras, whatever it is. And then lots and lots of events, which is my favorite thing.
All right, we're ready to play this. Let me fire it away.
Well, it's hard. You just have to make it work. And let me show you what I did last time, right? I show her what it is. And now she's excited. She's only 3 and she's, I want to watch Mama's work. She
That's
wants to see clothes we're making, which is cute. Not that life is any less stressful, regardless of the job you have. Honey, yeah, and she reads it every other day or so. And then I have the poster y'all gave, the little ABC filmmaking poster up in her little play place area. She loves going through the alphabet with it.
This is a hard industry to be in, but it's a love-hate. It's rewarding as well. And you do this because you love it. It's very hard to continue to do it if you don't have a passion for it or the people that are in it. And that's why we have Get Reelisms, so we can celebrate all of our other film fam that are struggling and trying to stay alive in it as well.
It's a great learning tool. That's one of the things I just loved the most when I first worked with you and Kellie. Kellie was the art director on that very first film set, that 48-hour project I was stepped on. Not to sound cliche, seeing other women making it, it's becoming cliche, but it's still true. It's like seeing women having a voice in the film industry, being badasses, and not just constantly taking orders, but carving paths and then being those leaders. And then the fact that y'all teamed up with Adam and the other dude, Chase.
Yeah.
Y'all creating this learning tool for all the other little guys, all the other underdogs who are just like, me too, maybe. Can I join? Can I learn? and just getting rid of the gatekeeping mentality or it's very snooty. It's very classist and elitist because it's just whomever can afford the film degree, they're always going to get the edge up. What if you can't afford that degree? What if you have to work to feed your family and you literally can't afford to even go to school with student loans?
And it's not like a film degree is going to give you the experience either. That's not how it works. I'm sure at some point you do, but I'm venture to say that like with most film schools, they don't really show what a shot list is. They don't show what should be in a call sheet or any of those really technical things. So yeah, a film degree can only take you so far, but friends and experience, that's a whole different story, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for sending that. That was an awesome little vid. We have been over an hour. I don't know if you want to wrap it up, but your boy's got a 10-1 as well. Yeah.
I have to get my daughter.
Yeah, no worry. We'll wrap this up. Thank you so much again, Sheila, for coming on here and chatting with us. We got to have you back on. There's plenty of episodes to go around to talk with other filmmakers. And that's essentially what this season of Get Reelisms is about, is just reaching out to other filmmakers and getting other filmmakers on here that aren't just to Austin. Christine's brought on so many talented people from her network in LA. We're trying to be the #1 filmmaker friendly podcast in the world, ladies and gentlemen.
Celebrate this crazy ass industry that we're in and all of it, the good and the bad, the ugly, and just, I don't know, maybe hopefully inspires anybody who wants to be in film that they can. And
It is possible.
It is possible.
It is
and
possible.
You can create an environment where people nurture each other and treat each other as humans and teach. We don't want to gatekeep it. We want anybody to be able to do it, because being able to create with people that you admire and respect is a very powerful and awesome thing to be a part of. I feel very grateful to still be here and still be working and still be able to meet other awesome, equally or more talented people in this industry.
Yeah. It's a wonderful time. And you know what is also a wonderful time is to get on getreelisms.com and pick up your books today. Get your books, get tees like those Sheila's wearing, get these hats. This hat is pretty indestructible, by the way. I've taken this hat on so many shoots and so many sets, and I've dropped this so many times, and it is still holding strong. So quality hats, ladies and gentlemen. Get your books. Get your baby book. Are you an adult baby? Then that baby book is probably for you as well. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Hopefully we'll be back soon. But until then, keep filmmaking, y'all. Keep working, keep chugging along. It's a weird, unprecedented time right now, but as long as we're
be nice to each other.
It's the old video rental slogan, be kind and rewind, please.
I love that.
It's the ultimate mantra of just being just comfortable and useful to each other while you're trying to learn and grow and adapt. That's the beautiful thing about filmmaking and human existence in general, y'all. So thank you so much, Instagram. Thank you so much, Facebook. We got to get going now. Ta-ta. Thank you so much. And watch Basil King, right? Or no, Basil King is coming soon.
Basil Queen, but yes, basilkingfilm.com. We have the Instagram and Facebook, and we have our trailer for the pilot episode officially released on YouTube, Basil King Film. It is so good.
I'm excited.
And then, yes, check out Catnip the movie, because that's another one. Christine actually helped us with a couple of things here and there, connecting us, finding us, this and that. Catnip the movie's coming as well, and that's starring Chevy Chase, which would be fun to work with on set, as well as Billy Lauren Adams, Crossing Fingers, Tom Skerritt. Deadline's gonna announce that this week. But yeah,
all right.
Watch, support. If I can do it out of nothing, anybody can do it.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, Instagram. Thank you so much, Facebook. We love you. Ta-ta for now.
Bye.